Yeah, it's interesting though, children, especially very young children, they recognize differences, but they don't judge differences. And that's why when, we have one of my dreams here is to have an inclusive preschool, but I've been to others. So when you see like 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and you have a kid with a disability or some kid that's different in some way, oftentimes the other children don't necessarily they don't judge what that difference is. They might notice it, but they want to actually include everybody. We teach children, things like discrimination and and to kind of notice and maybe even put some judgment on differences. But it doesn't come naturally. It's not something that comes from them and when they're in the womb. So when they're born, they're a blank slate, and that's what's really interesting about inclusive preschool is that children, all kind of diversity, come together when they're 2, 3 years old. When they finally go to school and someone that's different than them comes in the classroom, they don't react to it because they've lived with that all their life already, and it's infectious. And I do believe that the kids today that are going through that type of program and they stay with it, when they get up and they go to work and then become a manager and, move up the line, they're going to be the kind of people that not just respect diversity, they're going to demand diversity. They're going to know the value of having people around them that look, that think, that act different because they know that all of that's important to reaching out to the world. So it's an up and coming concept, but hopefully it gets a lot of legs.
I think that what you're talking about, that kids are a blank slate, is what gives humanity hope, because we always have the opportunity to build a new culture with the next generation.
Exactly. And, you learn biases. We all have biases, and most of those are learned. And then you have to work hard to unlearn those. But if you grow up in an environment that doesn't teach you biases right away, and so you you're less likely to adopt them, and then you're going to be more empathetic, more welcoming to everyone you meet. Everyone is interesting. And you probably know some people, Frederick, you maybe even met people on your podcast that they just welcome to learn. They want to meet everybody they can because everybody has something of value to offer. And that's something I certainly learned by working here around all of the adults that we serve. Some are not verbal, but they all have something of value to offer to themselves, to others. So it's interesting.
Yes, I
Yes.
agree. You were talking about the value of all people, right? Can you expand a little bit more on why that's important to you?